everyone. Welcome to Newport Connects. I'm Emily Smart, board member of Newport Downtown Development. We have Dave LaForce.
Dave LaForce. I'm also a board member of Newport Downtown Development.
And Eleanor.
Eleanor Leger, also a board member of Newport Downtown Development.
Today we're going to talk to you about the survey that we've conducted and some of the results and interesting findings. Dave, can you tell us a little bit about why we did this survey?
Absolutely. So as many of you know, we put together the master plan for the downtown Newport area. I think it's been over 2 years now. And that plan focused more on the concepts of what we would want in the downtown area. So whether it be housing, whether it be commercial spaces, things of that nature. We didn't spend any time focusing on what people actually wanted in those spaces. So that was the purpose of this survey. We really wanted to reach out not only to Newport City residents, but the entire county, because as many of you know, those of you that have lived in Newport for a very long time, Newport used to be the downtown of the entire Orleans County community. So we really wanted to venture out of the downtown area in Newport and to all the other towns surrounding Newport to really hear from everybody on what would they want in downtown Newport and what would they actually use in downtown Newport as a service or as a amenity or whatever the case may be.
Yeah. So can you tell me a little bit about the process about how we designed this survey? Like, how do we come up with the questions?
So, that's a good question. So, we really, one of the things that we did when we put out the master plan, we had another type of survey, but we had a lot of leading questions on that type of survey that we did when we did the master plan. So we really wanted to not point anybody into any direction. And we really
want to get the truth.
Yes, exactly. So we really wanted to, not ask, like, do you want a restaurant, as an example. We wanted to be more broad to get honest feedback of what people actually wanted. We didn't want to lead them to a conclusion, if that makes sense.
It does. And there was a team of people that worked on this, right?
Yes. We had a big team of people that really thought about the questions, how to ask the questions, and to make sure that we would get the results we actually wanted to get.
Yeah, great.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Eleanor, is it okay if I ask you some questions about what the data presented?
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome.
I'm the data geek, so happy to do that.
I can respect that. About how many people responded, and can you tell us a little bit about the demographics?
Yeah, so we had almost 900 people respond, which is really amazing. And when you think about people who do surveys, like when they're surveying the entire U.S., they're super happy to get like 1,500 to 2,000 respondents. And we got 900 just from Orleans County, which is really fantastic and very robust.
Great. Okay, and maybe a little bit more about the demographics?
Yeah. So there were a couple things I was really excited to see. We had great participation from around Orleans County. I mean, when I look at we'll post this chart, but we had respondents from Newport, of course, Derby, Coventry, Troy, Irisburg, Barton, Holland, Charleston, Jay, Morgan, Brownington, Glover, and even some people who don't live in Orleans County but visit. So way more than half were outside of Newport City.
Yeah.
So I think that's great. We got the input we were looking for. And then the other thing I was excited about in terms of respondents was we had really good distribution across age groups. So 20% who responded were younger than 35 and over 65, which is an important part of our community, but still isn't everybody.
Absolutely.
Was about 25 also, and so the majority was really in that 25, like 25 to 55. But with a good spread across the age groups. So I feel like we got input from a lot of different ages of people and different needs that they represent.
That's fantastic. And so I know we've released some information already about the overall winners of the categories, but what, in your opinion, will bring people downtown?
In my opinion, or what the data says?
What the data says.
I'm just about what the data says.
How do you read the data? What will bring people downtown?
So what's really clear is that food and beverage and retail and shopping come out on top. So there are certain groups that prioritize some things. Mm-hmm. We have a very robust vocal group of folks with kids in their house who really value family activities, but even they also talk about food and beverage and retail. So just across the board, food and beverage and retail come out on top as why people will come down frequently to downtown Newport.
Yeah. Food, straight way to the heart, right? All right, so let's dive into the numbers a little bit. What can you tell us about the food and beverage category?
Yeah, so for each of those priority categories, we asked people details about what types of establishments in those categories they would be most likely to come down to, like how frequently they would come for that. So for example, in the food and beverage category, international food and beverage was the winner in that one.
Amazing.
Family sit down, bakery, coffee shop, cafe, and deli and sandwich. So that was the top most frequent reasons people would come downtown. One of the things as we go through this, I want to make sure people understand is that that's all we asked was about frequency of visit. So that's not the single criteria. Like if you're thinking about putting a restaurant in downtown Newport, that's not the single most important criteria. So for example, a higher end farm to table restaurant didn't make the most frequent list, but that's a higher price point. People wouldn't necessarily go to that every night of the week. It doesn't mean that won't be successful.
Right.
So I just want to qualify what this data is and what it isn't.
Yeah, that's really interesting. I love that international was the top respondent because I find myself longing for more diverse food. Yeah, so the community agrees.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, it was fun.
All right, so moving into the second category was retail and shopping.
Yep.
So tell us a little bit about what you found there.
Yeah, so clothing and apparel, big winner. Home goods and decor, great to have all about home downtown now. Gift shops, like the Witch's Brew and other things. Arts and craft supplies, and secondhand thrift. Now, one of the fun things in the data was we also, one of the options was for people to put never. So you get a bunch of people with, frequency, but then also a high percentage of never. So the secondhand thrift store, interestingly, also had a high percentage of never.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So moving on, next was entertainment. That's the third category. Did I get that right?
Mm-hmm. So live music is the winner there.
Always a hit.
Outdoor festival, like our Wednesdays on the Waterfront, very popular. Performing arts theater, right?
Yeah,
Which would
lacking
be,
that.
Yeah. Movie theater, that, and comedy club.
Fantastic. And I know Jasper's is doing a lot of comedy these days, so that's good news for them.
Yep, exactly.
Awesome. Okay, let's dive in a little bit further with family activities.
So this was, there was clearly a group of people who responded who had children at home. It was over 30% of the respondents. And they were really vocal about, this was their priority, this is what they put first. And most of the things that they prioritized were activities indoors. We talk about Newport being a great place for outdoor recreation, but we have long, cold winters.
We do. We're facing it right now.
The point where you're like, I don't really feel like going outside today. What can I do with my kids? So indoor play area, number one, maybe a swimming pool, bowling alley, roller skating, a recreation center. Those were really the things in that vein were really prioritized.
I love that. I have a lot of great roller skating memories from my childhood. That would be great for kids and families in the area.
Yeah.
Okay, and so I think we had hospitality was next. It was kind of a big dip down for hospitality, but there's some reasons why.
Yeah, so most people who live around here don't need to go to a hotel here, right? It's really about people coming to visit. And so we asked that question differently. We said, would you have visitors? And if you had visitors coming, where would they want to stay? Would you want them to stay?
Yeah.
And so vacation rental was pretty high. Conference event and lodging, so things that would bring work people here. And hotel or motel. So most people said only occasionally, but among the people who said daily visits or frequent visits to a hotel or someplace to stay, those folks prioritized hotel.
Interesting.
So as we think about having a hotel downtown, in downtown, that was a really good indicator that the people who most need of that resource prioritized hotel out of all the different options.
It's fascinating.
I got a kick out of, if we just share like the fun little data points.
Please.
Wellness Retreat Echo Lodge did not score very highly, and had the highest percentage of never. I was like, well, I love those, but some people would just never.
Yeah, I think we are in the minority because I would join you. Awesome. So maybe now we can dig into what the data didn't show, but like I think there were some really interesting comments that you got, right?
Yeah.
Talk about that.
So I've done a lot of surveys in my past life, and I've always found it really useful to have a question at the end that says, what do you want us to know that we didn't ask you about? Is there anything else you want to tell us? And most people filled that out. And it was great because that's where you hear all the things you didn't really think to ask about, and that are also really important to what we do downtown. And so, I went through all those comments, all hundreds of them, and sort of tagged what issues people were talking about. And they also mentioned most frequently stores and restaurants and indoor activities, but they also mentioned some things about parking and the environment and safety.
Yeah.
And so, should we share a couple of these
Yeah,
comments?
please.
Yeah. So let's see. Well, just following the data in terms of the comments that were about the things we did ask about, there were way more comments about providing indoor activities versus outdoor. This is back to that really vocal group. Something educational or physical for kids and families to do so they can be active and learn. An indoor play space. We all know winter sucks for little kids. Let's create an indoor soft play with rental rooms for parents to afford and rent a space for parties. Need an indoor fun center for children. There's just not much to do with kids, especially during the winter. So just a lot of that common theme.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I will say, and Dave and I have talked about this on the retail side for stores, lots of mention of TJ Maxx. So there's that.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
Regarding parking, those comments tend to highlight like accommodation for large pickups. Some places are hard to get them in and out of.
For sure.
Accessibility for seniors, and availability for events when a lot of people are coming downtown. Here's a quote. I've heard many people complain there's not much parking for large, oversized vehicles. I know many people in the community drive pickup trucks, so perhaps this could be taken into consideration. Thank you. People were very polite, generally, in their comments, which
Fantastic.
was nice. Better parking for seniors with health issues, right? Accessibility.
Yeah.
Yeah, things like that. Yeah.
It's really interesting. I love that even though we didn't ask the question, we still got that information.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which is what people are thinking about when they come. We need to know.
Because even though we made our best attempt
Right.
to ask, what do you need? What do you want? We're not perfect.
Right.
But we still got that.
And it really helps as we continue our work with the master plan and defining parking and buildings and things like that. This data is really, really valuable for decision making down the road. So
Yeah.
it's really exciting,
Yeah.
really helpful.
So I see that security is next, and this is something that I'm passionate about. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, people talked about making sure that what we have downtown is a safe and welcoming environment. Cleaning up the boardwalk. My husband and I tried to go walking there. It felt very run down and dirty. Gathering of drunk, high individuals under the gazebo was frustrating. This is real.
Yeah.
We got to hear it. We got to do something about it.
Absolutely.
A parking or police presence walking around for addicts that are publicly intoxicated and sleeping homeless on benches. Obviously, people need help, but something that we should be addressing.
Yeah, so it's not all glamorous, the
Right.
information we got. We know that there are bumps and bruises that we need to work through.
Yeah.
Great. And now, housing.
Housing was another one.
Something we hear a lot on social media about housing.
Yeah, we need cheap rentals. Exclamation
Yeah.
point. But also, not only just accessibility in terms of the affordable issue, but also what the benefit of bringing more housing downtown would do for business and life downtown. Get people with disposable income living in downtown. The rest will sort itself out. Great to one person, right? An affordable apartment with parking. Once people move downtown, then there would be interest in dining and entertainment. So
Yeah.
it's a key. It's a key to unlock everything else.
Absolutely. But there is a little bit of a chicken and an egg situation. We need the things that draw people downtown, but we need the housing so they can live there.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And even when you talk about jobs and filling those jobs, if you can't get the workers and the workers can't get the housing to live here, to work here, it's like you said, it's the chicken and the egg. And there's a lot of businesses in the community right now that are struggling finding help because they can't get housing.
Yeah.
So and that's a big reason why our master plan has so much focus on over 400 units of workforce housing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that exact reason. Yep.
And can you just explain what you mean by workforce housing?
So when we talk about in our community, we have nurses, we have teachers, we have folks that work in manufacturing, we have folks that work in restaurants and
So
hospitality.
this is market rate housing
This
for
is
people who are working. Yeah.
Exactly,
Yeah.
and that's
Yeah.
we really need that, and that's the focus of what we're talking about when we're talking about the housing
Yeah.
for the downtown area.
Yeah, and even related to the chicken and the egg thing, the housing projects take long.
Right.
So in a sense, like that's the chicken because the businesses will come when they know that's in process.
Right.
Yeah.
And
Right.
then by the time the housing is ready for people to come live there, there'll be stuff, right? So
Right.
I really think of that as like the housing is the primary thing.
Right.
Yeah, and it's a
Exactly.
struggle to get affordable housing and to build affordable housing.
Yeah.
I know that our housing committee's working on that problem, and it's been a
It's
been a
not
struggle.
easy. It is not easy.
Yeah.
Correct.
Awesome. And what's last?
Let's see.
Oh, sorry, there's two more.
We got two more. So one, people also talked about the lakefront, right?
Yeah.
So things like turn the city around to face the lake. Obviously not something that's easy to make happen, but I've never seen a city on such a beautiful lake built with its back facing the lake.
Yeah.
Another comment, boardwalk with shops along the water. Another comment, this would be difficult, but to expand the use of the waterfront. So like everybody knows it's hard. We built it. It was built one way, but Newport could become more of a tourist destination. The beautiful waterfront area feels very underutilized right now in terms of the types of buildings and businesses that line the lakefront.
Yeah, so we
Yeah.
need like a reimagining of the lake and how we use it
Yeah, yeah. And
in
how
our
we can-
in our
yeah.
downtown. Yeah.
And how the master plan can help us,
Guide that process.
guide that
Yeah.
process.
Absolutely.
And I know that was a big part of the master plan.
Yep, it absolutely was. And when you look at the master plan and you look at the waterfront area, that's the primary focus of turning everything around and opening up that waterfront for public use.
Yeah,
It's the public's
yeah.
Yeah.
land.
Yeah, we don't want to turn it into somebody's private empire.
Exactly.
It's a good
Cool.
point.
Yeah, which kind of leads to the last section here, which is just the number of comments that people wrote in speaking directly about the need for a welcoming hometown vibe,
Yeah.
right? So everything from you need to get that welcoming hometown vibe back to Newport to making sure we keep the flavor of a small Vermont community while providing a place for visitors to enjoy, a safe, friendly, welcoming destination with many amenities, a return to a quaint, upscale, vibrant community center of commerce, vibrancy, cheer, friendship, love. The waterfront entertainment is the best thing to happen to Newport in years. So we've made some great starts, and that's what we need to build on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think there was even a comment under security, like wanting more howdy neighbor
Yeah.
feel. Yeah,
Yeah.
so that kind of goes into this as well.
Yeah, they're related for sure.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you so much, Eleanor.
I would say to that point too, having been born here and lived here all my life, and I'll give a huge shout out to Scott from the Northland Journal. It ignites something in me every time I see pictures of the past in downtown Newport, and you see those old stores, because that's what I grew up in. And that's a big reason why I'm on the board of Newport Downtown Development. Is I have two kids. They have an interest of staying here right now, but it's always on that cusp. To bring back that downtown feel and that hometown feel. And like I said, big shout out to Scott, because when I see those pictures, it just ignites something in me. That's what we're talking about here, is to recreate that feeling and that downtown for Orleans County that people are proud of and want to come to and be with friends and family. And we want cars on Main Street. We want people on the sidewalks and on the waterfront. So that's why I'm part of this work. And I think that's why a lot of our board members are part of this work, because we feel confident. It's going to take a lot of work.
Yeah.
It's not easy work. I'll tell you that right now. No. It's not going to happen overnight, but there's a group of people. We have over 100 volunteers in Newport Downtown Development that are fighting for this every single day.
That's right. It's a marathon.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah, I think that kind of sums up why I am a board member also. I have a son who's about to graduate high school, and I want him to stay. Like, maybe it's selfish, but I also want a safe, secure environment to thrive in for myself as I get older and get into retirement. Yeah. So this is great. This is great information. Thank you to the community. Thank you to every single person that responded to this. We appreciate your time and your insight, and we're going to keep asking questions. But what comes next? What do we do with this data?
I do want to, before we get into that, I do want to give a huge shout out to the entire community in Orleans County, because, like you said, Eleanor, almost 900 respondents. That's unbelievable.
Yeah.
So that makes me really proud of our community, that everybody took this serious, and it was not for nothing. And I also want to give a shout out to some establishments in the community. Two examples are Hoagie's Tea Bar, Vermont Pie and Pasta. They're not even in Newport, they're in Derby. They had the little cards at every table so people were aware of this survey. That was huge, and that's what I'm talking about. When the community comes together, we can make happen, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm really, really thankful to everybody that did this work. But what's next? So this is phenomenal, because now, as we are continuing our work with the master plan and we're talking to developers on building these buildings of residential, in the whole downtown area, every residential building, the first floor will be commercial. So it could be a restaurant, it could be a gym, it could be a bowling alley, it could be a movie theater, the list goes on. But we didn't have the data to know what that was before. Now we do. So now, in parallel, as we're working with developers on figuring out how we're going to build these buildings, in parallel, we can work with folks to determine and identify who's going to put what where. Because what we don't want is build a building and then hope we fill it.
Yeah.
Build it and they come? No, we're not doing that. So this work was a precursor of identifying what people want, what people would use, and now we can start fishing and finding those people on doing these things that Orleans County wants.
Yeah.
I'll say another big piece of this is we're going to be doing a huge push for alumni. There's a lot of people my age, I'm getting older, that are coming back home. So part of this work, now that we know what Orleans County wants, we're going to start introducing this data to alumni, because there might be somebody out there, either in the world or United States, that was born here, that is doing one of these businesses and might want to come back and move that business to Newport.
Yeah.
So that's another big piece of our work as we start going down the future here and identifying how we can make all this happen. So I'm really excited about this. This is more than I thought we would get. So this is a slam dunk home run for us, and it gives us the real data. We're not guessing.
Yeah.
You never want to guess with this type of work in economic development. So now we have a roadmap, and I'm thrilled.
So I have one more question. Just because people say they're coming out to these businesses, does that guarantee success? And vice versa, if people say they won't support it, does that mean a business is guaranteed to fail?
Obviously, there's a big piece of this. We're very fortunate in our communities. There is a lot of business owners in our community that have grit and understand what customer service is. I'll give an example. The Tea Bar, it's amazing. That place is always packed, always busy, and they understand customer service, So, yeah, it has to be the right people. It has to be the right mix. and you provide those services well, and more than likely they're going to be a very successful business, providing the services that Orleans County wants. What was your second question?
If the numbers say, like, if not a majority of people will come frequently, does that mean a business will not succeed?
Absolutely not. And I can't remember the indication that you brought up.
Yeah.
The farm to table.
Yeah, or for example, a hair salon.
Right.
You're not going to go get your hair cut every day, right?
Right.
So that didn't score high on frequency, but doesn't mean people don't want it. So this is one aspect of the criteria that a business owner would make the decision on, but one of many.
Exactly. And also remember that, a big piece of this, and another big piece of housing, is you introduce 200 more individuals or families that live in downtown Newport. That's a game changer for every retailer on Main Street.
That's right.
It's a game changer. And I think anybody would, I think if you asked anybody that doesn't live here, or anybody that lives here, when you see Wednesdays on the waterfront, what do you want to do when you're driving by? You're instantly like, what's that?
Yeah. Stop and get out.
Stop and get out.
I want what they have. I want that fun.
So if we can have that many people living in downtown, your sidewalks are now busy, people are walking in and out of Merchants, what do you think is going to happen?
More people will come.
More people are going to come.
Yeah.
So
there's a virtuous cycle.
Yes.
And we can get on it.
Yeah.
And I think, I'll bring up another example, Jaspers. Huge shout out to that team. Huge shout out. That entity has been there for years. It's had its ups and downs or whatever, but look what's happening. I drive home from work on a Friday night or a Saturday night. It's so thrilling to see the entire Main Street full of cars. Because people are coming out, they're getting together, they're having fun. That's what we want.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's what we want.
Awesome. All right. Any final thoughts?
Onward and
just
upward.
a big thank you. I can't be more thankful to everybody that participated. Get involved. We will the website.
Yes, we are going to have this information posted on our website. It's discovernewportvt.com. That's right?
Yeah.
Okay. And we're going to publish all the results. And also we're going to be announcing the winner of the town that won.
Yes. So be on the lookout on our social media. That will happen tomorrow. We're really excited about that. So be on the lookout for our social media for the grand announcement of who won.
Awesome. I'm excited to see who wins that piece of concrete,
Yes.
the chunk of the pit.
Yes, exactly. Yes.
So fun.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I think that wraps us up here. Thank you so much to everyone who participated in the survey. Thank you to all our volunteers, and thank you to the community for being passionate about this and wanting these changes. And I think that's it for us. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.